Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show on Halloween Eve. So you might be wondering, okay, she's got this Star Trek outfit on. So, okay, there's the costume, Halloween thing, but I have to tell you what we're going to talk about, or one of the things, I have two things that I want to talk about, is we're going to be talking about the final frontier. Whoosh. That's the Enterprise flying across the screen, in case you didn't know that. But I want to start here. So the two items that I'm going to talk about today have really been emerging a lot in my consciousness over this past week. And one of the things that I've learned, and I think you guys have figured out for me, is if there's something that's kind of bothering me, that I feel like I need to talk about it. And it's not that I'm going to be complaining. It's not a complaining thing, but it is situations that are going on right now that are, I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be discussed and put out there and out in the open. And some of this, I'm sure many of you are already aware of. I'm sure that there are some of you that are unaware or are tangentially aware. But I'm going here anyway, because I have to tell you, it's like my energy has been really kind of disturbed this week. So I don't know if it's because I'm thinking about this stuff too much. I don't know if there's this energy dynamic going on that, keeps taking me back to this, so as I like to get from you, if this has just been a weird week, not a bad week, but just a weird week that you just can't put your finger on it, share that, please. And so, as I said, we're going to start with space, the final frontier. And so tomorrow, all right, hang on a second. I have to pull something up. Tomorrow, okay, there is an interstellar object, if you weren't aware of this, that is called 3I Atlas, and it is like the size of Manhattan, and it is an interstellar object, and it was first detected on July 1st, 2025, which I think is kind of interesting because that's really kind of late. And I've seen posts about it on Facebook, but never paid any attention to them. And this past weekend, there was a video on YouTube and I watched it, and now I was kind of sucked into this whole thing because this interstellar comet has a lot of anomalies that NASA can't really explain. And they go, well, it could just be an anomaly we've never seen before. I don't know. I'll come back to that. And so here are some of the things that have been going on. Now, granted, I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm stealing this from somebody's webpage because it made more sense than me going on and on about something I don't really know. But here we go. So this is some of the activity that has been going on. It has been growing in brightness, the formation of a tail at an unusually large distance from the sun. So usually when the comet gets closer to it, and whatever, start to face the comet. But this is where it starts getting weird. They have noticed sudden accelerations that are unexplainable. They say that the tail of the comet doesn't behave like an ordinary comet, where on more than one occasion, the tail has been misaligned. So, it should go straight back, but it doesn't. And it seems as if it is generating a controlled thrust rather than dissipating heated gas. Its brightness also defies the expected laws of solar reflection, increasing and decreasing with a regularity too precise to be random. And if I recall correctly, it was like every 11 minutes, it would kind of flash. I mean, just weird stuff. And finally, the latest spectroscopic analysis revealed an anomaly in the composition of the coma, showing a carbon dioxide concentration 8 times higher than expected, a feature never observed in comets from our solar system. So there are all of these anomalies that are going on. And but they keep trying to say, oh, well, it's natural, it's natural, it's natural. But then you start to, so this is like the YouTube stuff. But then if you go online and like actually do a search on it, they write it all off. And they just are like, you know, it's natural. There's nothing to see here. You know me, and my nothing to see here, that just like raises every little hair in my body. Nothing to see here. You go on AI, pretty much the same thing. It's like, yeah, it has these irregularities, but it's natural. Don't worry about it. You know, and it's not that I'm worried about it, but, you know, it's a kind of a two-part thing. It really bothers me that they are being so silent about it. And then you watch some of these other videos. And so something that was supposedly leaked was that the European Space Agency has revived its preparedness reporting events. There have been emergency meetings at the Pentagon. And then the U.S., China, and then the European Space Agency are on alert. But then, and actually there was something else. Oh, and then I couldn't find what the date was. But apparently on one day, like there was just the comet, and then poof, now there are 9 other comets floating around the main comet. And the positioning of them does not suggest, like they're all kind of equally spaced, where if something hit the comet and a chunk broke off and it broke up into 9 pieces, they would be different sizes, they would be kind of all over the place, but that's not what they're finding. Plus, the comet is emitting like 10 gigawatts of energy, and these little satellite things are sending out 20 gigawatts of energy, which according to the narrator is enough to power an entire country. Think about that, an entire country out of one of these things. You know, and there was some other stuff that I didn't cover. Oh, and so this object went by the Keck Observatory and the Gemini Observatory, but it just so happened that when it was going by, the units were under scheduled maintenance, and so they didn't get any pictures. And then the few pictures that they did get, they got the pictures, and then the government shut down, and so none of the pictures have been released because of the government shutdown. Now, how convenient is that? How convenient. Anyway, you know, but the silent thing, and there was even a Snopes, you know, it's a fact-checky thing that was like, nothing to see here. It's all natural. It's all good. But then it got interesting because I wanted to actually like write something down and act like I knew what I was talking about, which sometimes I don't. But apparently there's another interstellar comet that is heading this way, except in an opposite direction. So let's say 3I Atlas is coming this way, and this other comet, and it's called C/2025, but they're calling it Artie Swan. It's coming this way. And tomorrow, they're going to be the closest to each other that they're going to be in their opposite direction approach. And it just so happens that when this occurs, these objects are going to be, I'm going to say, behind the sun, behind space agencies' ability to see and point their telescopes toward the sun, because apparently there's a radius around the sun that if they turn the telescope into it, it'll burn it up, it'll burn up the optics. And so there's a point, and those two objects are going to be into that area closest to each other tomorrow. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I've been following the Schumann resonances and seeing if there's any, I'm going to say, reflection of what's been going on in there. I'm not familiar enough with it to make an opinion one way or the other. But again, one, there was the silence with that perked my ears. But there's also the timing, is that it's happening now. This whole interaction thing is happening now. And I just wanted to make you aware of it. And so if there is something weird that happens, if there are solar flares that create an EMP and the power goes out, it could be this thing. And I don't want to be a doomsdayer. I mean, what if it is extraterrestrial life that is here? I don't know. I don't have an opinion one way or the other, but but my antenna are up, and I have the sensors on, and they're on long distance, and they're just like checking everything that's going on, just in case something happens. But it's not the only thing going on. Okay, so other than tomorrow's Halloween, and then on Saturday we have to turn the clocks back, which I don't like. I don't like it. Anyway, so there's that. And I'm sure you guys are aware that because the government has not been funded, that people that are on SNAP, which is like food stamps, for many people, they get like Section 8 housing, so they get a discount or free housing. There's no money for it. So those people aren't going to get their checks. And I started going back on X, Twitter, just to get barraged by this, of these very entitled individuals who are getting like $6,000 a month in assistance, $3,000 a month in assistance, bitching and moaning how they're going to go to Walmart and rob them. And, if they don't go into the store, they're just going to like go and take your card. And all of this, I mean, it's ugly. Then there are people on there, they're like, hey, look, I just been in Walmart and look what I got in my bag. And they're like pulling out all this stuff. And I'm like, it has your picture and it has your handle. And don't you think police could like put 2 and 2 together and arrest your ass? Because now you just confessed. People are freaking stupid. However, with that said, I already did my grocery shopping for next week. If you have not at least stocked up, I keep feeling like whatever this is, it's going to settle by Wednesday. It's either going to settle or escalate. I'm feeling more settled by Wednesday but I'm not feeling like this weekend is going to be a good time to go to the supermarket. And so if you can avoid it, if you can do online delivery, I would advise just staying away. Walmart seems to be the huge target, but I could see this happening at other stores, other chain stores that are around. There are even people who are going online, like going on Twitter and doing these videos, wanting to know when people are planning on going to Walmart to rip it off. And even though they don't get SNAP, they want to go so that they can go like rip Walmart off, because if there's a lot of people stealing stuff all at the same time, then they probably won't get caught. It's just, you sit there and see this face of humanity that is hard to look at. I mean, one guy was complaining because, well, if he didn't get his food stamps, then how is he going to buy weed? Because he used the money from the food stamps to buy weed. I mean, it goes on and on for there. People are like, well, this is what I buy. And they load their cart up with junk. And there's not a piece of fruit or a vegetable. It's just fast food, pre-processed, expensive stuff. And so again, you know me, I don't predict the future, but these two issues have really been resonating with me and catching my eye and catching my attention and focus a lot. And I will be very happy when this weekend ends. And because I feel like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And if it happens, you've been warned, you will be emotionally prepared. And if it doesn't happen, even better. So that's my thing for tonight, and I hope it helps. And I know it is just like kind of out in left field, but again, it has just really been pressing to me, and I just wanted to share that with you. So with that said, if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, please go to my webpage. That's soulhealer.com, soulhealer.com, and you can set up a time for a private consultation. If you are listening to this show in a recorded format, like on BitChute or Spotify or iHeartRadio, my show's on iHeartRadio. You could, if you want to join the chat and get a free on-air psychic reading, go to my YouTube channel. It's the easiest, and that's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central, and I would love to have you here. This show is also brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive counselor, and certified energy medicine practitioner, a professional level, all from the comfort of your home. And you can start that journey by downloading my free 50-page guide, Jumpstart Your Intuition. And you can get that, again, at appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And before we get going, I just want to remind you to please, go to my different social media channels and like and subscribe and give things thumbs up, because it just makes me feel good. How's that? But it just helps spread the word about this show. And if there are people that that you think would get value from being part of the show, I would love for you, please tell them, because the more the merrier. And so before I change gears and start saying hi to people in the chat room, I just want to share this with you because Raylan wanted to say happy Halloween to you. Okay, maybe not so happy for him because look at that face. It's like, Mama, you're making me mad. But Raylan says happy Halloween, and I hope you all have a great night with that. Okay. Whew. Okay, I'm tired already.